We were talking about teaching grammar and vocabulary in multiliteracies context, and today we will talk about it a little bit because it would be worth sort of visiting some of the things that we're talking about and to situate it or situate what we are doing with technology or hoping to do with technology in a sort of theoretical framework. So, Angie, this will be familiar to you, but I'm going to open up with some questions. This is question number one. Starting big and deliberately big.
How we structure the language.
Okay, structure the language. Perfect. Just throw it out there. What is grammar and vocabulary to you? To you.
Like two things that you need when you want to explain something in a language to other people.
Two things that you need in order to explain something in a language to other people. Okay.
Yeah, you have to combine them all the way.
Fair. Mm-hmm. Are they two things or are they one and the same thing in two different guises? Both. Hey, Marcus. Hey,
Hi.
we already starting. This is Marcus, everyone. Marcus, everyone. Marcus came to the last talk by Mark Kaiser, and he's kind of interested in language-related things. Sure, or you can sit over there. I know wherever you think will be better for you. Okay, so are they? So the question is, are they two separate things? Are they related things? Are they the same thing with two different sides? What do you think?
I think they're different.
They're different.
Vocabulary is a series of words that identify things and animals. Or it's the way we define things in animals in the world. So,
Can you have one without the other?
Can you have what?
One without the other.
No, you cannot have grammar without vocabulary.
Or not?
Can you have vocabulary without grammar? You can.
You can have vocabulary
like you
without
can
grammar,
know
but you
where.
cannot have grammar without vocabulary.
This is kind of a one-way relationship, right? And okay, so I think we're sort of kind of getting at something here. Another question would be, what is the best way for foreign language students to learn these language forms? And then, what is the best way for foreign language instructors to teach them?
The best way is a combination of different ways. So, teaching. No, I mean, is there just one best way?
No, there isn't.
No,
Very good.
So we try to combine different
We need a bigger team.
approaches. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A combination.
A combination.
I would say if we are in a class and we come more than one student.
So it will depend on the learning styles, I think, is what
We
you're
tend to separate them, I think, because it's easier, especially in the teaching. It's easier to teach them separately sometimes.
Yes.
I think we fall into that.
But the thing is, you need to have the vocabulary in order to teach the grammar.
Correct.
You cannot teach the grammar without having it.
Exactly. Let's thinking of. I think at the beginning level, in the beginning course, maybe the combination is less. It happens, no? When you are learning some structures, some sentences, some words. But once we are in another level, I think that we tend to separate more between grammar and vocabulary, and the students are more aware of this separation that we are using in the class.
Daryl, how do you approach teaching
Maybe.
vocabulary and grammar?
For them an article or like doing my map, like what do you have in mind when I tell you car, for example? When
So
it comes
like a
to
semantic map, like
Yeah, exactly. What do you have in mind? So that's
Okay.
how I know how rich their vocabulary is. When there's vocabulary.
Not just we teaching, it's also we them learning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Mark, Alex,
Oh man, this is
We have a
cozy.
crowd. We have a crowd.
Popular topic.
You have written grammar and vocabulary, and we are very, you know.
Alessandra, there's a chair for you over there.
Yeah.
And these are the questions that we had at the, you recognize them. Okay, let's move on to,
I'll be right back.
okay, well, how do we, so semantic maps are one way of teaching / your students learning grammatical and vocabulary concepts. And, is it applicable to grammar really? Semantic maps is more kind of a vocab thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, matters on
Okay, what do we do for grammar? Like, how do we have them learn grammar? How do you guys have them learn grammar?
When teaching English grammar, I mean, they need to use that time frame, like what did you do yesterday? And then when they say, I go to my friend's house, then I will say, no, not go, but when? Is it like that?
This is a corrective feedback then?
Yeah, sometimes
Okay.
I use that.
Well, usually I teach it beforehand. I don't teach, but I give it. I ask them to review it at home before we apply
What?
the grammar.
How? How is it packaged?
Reading it in English and doing exercises at home before they come to class.
Okay, so you deductive explanation, so grammatical concepts in English, which you have them review, and then in class,
And then in class we
in front
only
of
apply
you.
it.
It's a combination. I'll often start with an example, create a situation, and then from there try to wrap it.
So you do
Depends on the
deductive.
complexity. I try to be more inductive, but it depends on the complexity also of the structure.
Yeah. For example, right in the beginning, and like introductions, it's an easy thing. It's not something they're gonna repeat. Hello, good morning, how are you? And they all repeat the same thing. So that way they're learning grammar, but just by repeating this, and they know exactly what's happening. They're not understanding what's the subject, and what's the verb, and what's the noun.
We've been talking a lot about multiliteracies. The issue, the term has surfaced in various contexts, across various talks, workshops. The next question would be, how do you think grammar vocabulary will be defined from the multiliteracy perspective? So remember, last week I drew this diagram on the wall there, where we're talking about the available designs and the pedagogical acts and how they all kind of feed into each other, how they're all related. So with all that in mind, if you can recall bits and pieces of it, how are grammar and vocabulary, how do they figure in that relationship?
I think from that point of view, from that perspective, multiliteracies.
You mean how is it delivered, or?
We're talking about text, and so if you're talking about text, then definitely that's something that is going to be combined.
Okay.
You're going to be learning grammar and vocabulary at the same time.
Okay, so
Like
there's
for example, what we did last workshop, where we were getting these newspapers, and we were asking questions. I think in that case, you're learning both grammar and vocabulary at the same time.
So you're learning them both at the same time. Are you also learning anything else in conjunction with learning with grammar and vocabulary? So if you're looking at a newspaper, let's say the example from last week, right, where we have these snippets,
Yes,
these
more.
paragraphs. What else comes into the picture along with grammar and vocabulary? Culture, okay, perfect. Anything else, maybe?
No, I would not have anything to add to culture. That was my response to.
I don't think I've seen it yet, but I imagine it's the one that's in the book, the Time magazine.
I think we did Washington Post.
But I think that within culture as a category would also be like learning, not only learning the target language culture, but comparing and contrasting with their own and establishing connections.
Yeah.
So we have not just one culture, but not just the target culture, but also the
knowledge that we bring.
first language culture, different schemas and different available designs, right? Okay, do we have anything to add to this? I'm kind of going through it fast, but we have a lot of things to do. Okay. So far, for meaning connections, right, which goes back to, kind of sort of relates to grammar and vocabulary being connected to each other, as in one grammar cannot really function without vocabulary. Vocabulary could function without grammar, although that is also something that we can discuss more. Interpretation of text, it features prominently in the process too. It is culturally dependent and also socially constructed, right? Which goes to say, like we saw last week, where with the grammar and vocabulary as they're presented in authentic texts, there is a lot more that could be derived from that experience than just grammatical vocabulary or lexical knowledge. So they're connected to conventions, writing systems, phonetic systems. They can also serve as coherence devices and cohesion devices. So this is something that we haven't really, that hasn't really been mentioned here, but it goes to show that, again, with grammar and vocabulary, there is a lot more that could be learned. And then and this I think has been mentioned today as well, that whatever our students bring into the class from their first language could be used, and indeed is oftentimes used in order to unpack the grammatical and vocabulary notions. But I think the fundamental thing that should be taken away from this discussion is that the grammar and vocabulary are just examples of the many available designs that function, that exists in a classroom setting. So it could be, what are available designs?
Gestures.
That list.
No, that thing, no, like gestures, typography.
Okay, so perfect. Okay.
Interpreting and creating and culture.
Beautiful. Okay, so those are these little packets of knowledge that students bring to class, or that we also try to impart on our students, that are then used in order to unpack or decode text, but then it's also they comprise texts themselves. Great. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Perfect. Everybody knows. Okay. These are the available designs. This is the list before or after it has been categorized. We've done some categorizing here with Padlet. These are, of course, just examples of each category. Again, one thing that we pointed out when it comes to these available designs was, what was it?
Sorry?
The one thing that all these available designs have in common.
They are
They can go into more than one category. Perfect, right? And we have like 6 categories, but we could have more categories pretty easily. Right? These are just the 6 categories that are suggested by various authorities in the field. But if we feel like we need more categories, where we can make more, we can collapse those categories too. Okay, so those are the types of available designs. So now the question, just pull this out here. The question now is, we have available designs, and we established that grammar and vocabulary are just part of the available designs scheme. They're just 2 examples. So how do we then fit it into the multiliteracies framework? I'm going to pass these out. The exact same thing that we did.
The poem?
No poem today. No. It would have been too much. The answer to that question is the 4 pedagogical acts.
I'm sorry.
So the question is, how does one apply the multiliteracies pedagogy to teach the available designs of language forms through text?
What is that?
What you're looking at
It's not
this is not the answer to the question.
Okay.
This is the question meant at pushing the discussion forward, and it's essentially asking you, how do you teach grammar and vocabulary and multiliteracies framework? With the emphasis on these two ideas, these two notions being available designs, right? And to answer that question, we need to take a look at the 4 pedagogical acts. The 4 pedagogical acts are part of the multiliteracies framework, and one way to look at them is as the 4 categories of activities that students can and should engage in order to learn the language. Yeah, so far, so good. And so it goes roughly from situated practice, which focuses on experiencing. And by the way, you guys do all this already in your classes to a greater or lesser extent. The only difference here being that it has been categorized and it has been sort of put into this multiliteracies framework. The examples of these 4 acts will point toward. They point towards specifically the vocabulary and grammatical instruction. So this is not sort of general what these things are. It's kind of like, okay, situated practice. What do we do that? How do we do that in the context of the teaching vocabulary and grammar? Okay. So situated practice would be immersion in language use through communicative activities using foreign language texts. It also focuses on learners expressing their thoughts and opinions. And here are some examples of this pedagogical act of situated practice.
Who wrote this text or this pedagogical?
Who wrote it?
Yeah.
It goes back to the New London Group's multiliteracies pedagogy founding document, where they, I think, mentioned these first, and then it has been expanded on successfully. Okay, so this would be situated practice. Okay, I am not giving anything that is more concrete than this, because this will be sort of the next step of our workshop. Now, another act, and by the way, they don't have to be applied in any specific order. They can overlap, much like the notion, the available designs that we looked into. You could think of design activities that incorporate various pedagogical acts. Okay, so overt instruction would rely on conceptualizing things. So that would be development of knowledge to explicitly identify and learn to use new resources for meaning design in foreign language. And they are student-centered, animated activities aimed at analyzing, unpacking text, grammar, conventions, cultural knowledge, and so on and so forth. So it would be things like sentence reformulation, pattern analysis, dictionary work. Okay, then we have critical framing. And these activities focus on understanding the cultural, historical, linguistic, and social context of the text. They try to point at how the different rules of language, and I'm reading it out, but it could be, these are analyzed a lot more succinctly than I would ever be able to. And then the examples of these is predicting, critical focus questions, debate, self-assessment. And then last but not least, transform practice is all about applying the learned knowledge. These tend to come towards the end of a lesson unit. And these provide opportunities to apply understandings, knowledge, and skills gained through textual learning. Can entail either applying appropriately or creatively, and make focus on either creating new texts or reshaping already existing ones. And then it could be like PowerPoint presentations, creative writing, storytelling, and so on and so forth. So this is all super abstract. This is all super vague. This is all super boring.
Can I have a picture so I can have this?
We have that.
I can send it to you. It's also going to be online at some point, but feel free to take a picture.
So it's very useful.
Can I ask you, what's the difference between this, because some of the examples in here and Bloom's taxonomy?
What is the example
What is the difference?
between this and Bloom's taxonomy? Just
Some of them is,
different categorization.
but the concept is, okay.
It's just how you think about it.
Yeah,
This is
and it is more or less the same purpose.
pretty much. It's just this puts you more in line. This puts everything that we do more in line with the multiliteracy framework.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we do with this? Why are we even looking at it in the first place, other than it being related to multiliteracies? Well, what I want you to do now is there's a sample lesson plan that you should have in front of you, and there's a bunch of activities included in the lesson plan. What I would like you to do is to take a look at them and then see if you can classify these activities according to the 4 pedagogical acts. Now, some activities may highlight more than one pedagogical act. Some may include only one. We can work together.
Introducing ideas,
illustrate the vocabulary, use knowledge. So it states, right? This is the situated practice.
It could be cultural context. It could be many things because we focus on cultural context. This is culture.
We have to see.
So pedagogical acts is what you do in class.
Yeah.
So as a student.
We should be recognized as experience. There is a concept of exploration.
So you look at these activities that are in the lesson plan and see which ones are experiencing, which ones are conceptualizing, which ones are applying, which ones are analyzing, which ones combine these.
This is the first time it's only so just to experience vocab,
Can you go to work?
So I applied one of the exercises in the classes
From this.
from the chapter 3.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the one reading text, right? To retell the story from the perspective of one, a different perspective of one of the people in the story.
Okay, which
was, I would say it would be, it was called critical framing exercise, I think. They called it critical, but it was really very useful. I wouldn't have thought of it before reading the chapter.
Why is it critical framing?
Because you communicate from a different perspective, right? Perspectives given in text. Think about how to frame it in the perspective of this book.
Based on the knowledge
Right.
that you have
From the text.
from the text about the characters,
Yes.
also about the culture, probably,
Oh, I
also
was
about the
wondering if
explorers, also about
Everything, yeah.
everything,
That was
right?
really, that was really great.
But could also be transformed in practice.
Already.
Well, sure, because you apply what you can learn in the text, you apply it now in different ways. It could be that as well. Even if you think overlap, I think.
Yeah.
The experience.
Directed reading
So,
here.
but that was just such a great chapter. I thought. I kept writing things down for ideas. It took me a while to get through it. It was a great chapter.
Jose Antonio?
But do you introducing ideas, just like you were saying, it is experiencing critical thinking. In the second understanding, I think it's conceptualizing.
Yeah.
In the text, you understand.
Yeah, I would think so. Mostly, yeah. The hypothesizing, that is, I would say that it is,
You read the text.
it's
That could be
transform
transformed
practice,
practice.
yeah. I would think so, mostly. Relationships. That's,
So this awareness, excuse me,
that
the
could
cycle
be
is
over
experiencing,
conceptualizing as well.
conceptualizing, analyzing.
Well, one thing
applying.
said it's not a cycle. You see, there are no arrows. It could turn into a cycle, but I mean, you don't have to. These acts could coexist within different activities. There's theoretically nothing way of you putting together a task that incorporates all of these.
For example, this is the first difference with the Bloom taxonomy.
Mhm.
In the Bloom taxonomy, there is
exactly.
there is a pyramid. So it's
Mhm.
Oh, that's
the
right.
biology goes,
And they go
so
into each other, yeah.
So
Yeah.
because it's, you start with
No, you're right.
list and then analyze, conceptualize, and then so on.
Well, some it
The right
depends
to
on you.
do.
But how, I mean, in
For
order to get to the analyzing, you first should go through the others though. I think that critical thinking, in order to analyze, you first have to be situated,
Sure.
conceptualize it, apply it. Or, well, actually,
And
analyze
apply
and
would be
apply
the
could
last
be
one,
The
yeah.
last
I
one.
would,
The
yeah.
plan
Yeah.
should be the last
Or
one.
if analyzing and
Analyze
applying
and
could
apply
be
together.
together.
Together,
So
yeah.
because you, in order to be able to creating writing, you need to vocab and then do all the other.
But you can also have situated practice and analyze at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Bloom's taxonomy is not something that is super simplified. Right? We can still have Bloom's taxonomy and this. I mean, que no se chocan. ¿Cómo se dice?
They're not against each other, they
No.
can complement.
No, they complement
complement,
because
you know.
if you think with Bloom taxonomy, you see different stages
Of working.
Well, it's just more
of
structured.
working of language level
Yeah.
too.
It is more structured, for sure.
So because I think that the things I see here, that even at the lower levels, you can do something, the analyzing and applying even at the lower level.
Okay. So what do we think? What's 1A? I do have answers.
So situated practice, introducing ideas is situated practice.
Mm-hmm.
Number one.
Is there anything else we see in it? Let's do.
Yeah, it's also analyzing what is this culturally, what we do for breakfast. For me, is
And then the conceptualizing as well.
Critical framing, you said? For 1A?
For one,
Oh, so. Oh, the analyzing critical
Right,
framing.
right, yes, yes.
Blanking here. What about 1B? Yes, so
Sí,
the
categories.
Experience.
Experiencing.
situated practice again.
Categories.
Mhm.
So the 1A is a situated practice and analyzing.
I think so. Okay, should we keep going on the list, or if you guys want to? I mean, I think that so we can certainly do that. I do think, however, that one conclusion, if you will, that could be drawn from this is that many of these activities are not going to neatly fall into just one category. They will combine different elements from the different pedagogical acts, right? Let's see. Okay, let's see 2A. Students hit the text. What is it? Clink, clunk.
Yes, I can go with that, but I understand these words.
It's a weird.
Clink and clunk, what does
I
it
understand
refer to?
and I don't understand yet.
But why clink and clunk? That's silly.
Clink glasses. And
Oh.
clunk. And it's
Silly.
trying, helping here.
No, it's silly.
Okay, the silly 2A. What would that be? Situated practice?
Wait,
Yes,
Yes, situated words.
yes.
There is a
What about overt
Conceptualize.
instruction, over conceptualizing?
Yeah. Selected dictionary work.
Mhm.
Work.
Let me move forward. Okay. Situated practice, just like we said, we also added a bit of analysis in there. The word associations, which is 1B, situated practice, overt instruction. Understanding meaning, which is the second part of the lesson plan, situated practice, overt instruction would be 2. 1B, or sorry, 2B, reading matrix. Situated practice over instruction. There's the hypothesizing part. So this is essentially how this kind of sort of breaks down. Again, we could add to it depending on how strong a case we make. I'm going to give you a minute to go through this list and see how this checks out against the actual activities. If you can recognize the elements of these pedagogical acts, or if you can indeed recognize these pedagogical acts in these activities here. And this is just for you to take a look at. If you want, you can of course do more analyzing, more comparing, contrasting on your own outside of here. In the interest of time, I'm going to move forward to the actual tech part. So you will notice that there are a number of activities. They're all these different tasks and all these different activities here, and they follow the 4 pedagogical acts, and they fit into the 5 different instructional stages that are suggested to us. Now, could we improve any of these activities in a way that would allow us to make them more motivational, more interactive? Again, not necessarily in a way that would sort of force the technology on them, but maybe we can leverage what we have that we're aware of, the tools, the platforms, to make some of these activities even more effective. And I figure that to that end, we could look into the Popplet.
It's for maps.
Huh?
It's for maps. No, to create maps.
Maps, semantic maps.
Semantic maps.
Yes.
I checked it this morning.
You looked at it this morning?
Yeah, I was looking for semantic maps.
Coincidence.
Well, there you go. So I sent you one as well, but then I found this actually after I had sent you the other tool. So okay, Popplet. Let's start with maybe creating a free account.
Popplet. I send it.
And what I want you to do, and this is going to be pretty strategic for the success of this workshop, I want you
Oh
to.
my God, I see a huge typo already. I don't like it.
Okay. We have first crisis here. Where's the typo?
It's not typo. It's a grammatical mistake. I don't trust this.
Okay. Sorry.
Zuberek.
This deal breaker. Well, workshop derailed.
What you have to do.
So when you go to Popplet, you click sign up for the account. It's gonna ask you to, or it's gonna tell you something about Adobe Flash.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is that you use, you may see a link that says get Adobe Flash or get Flash somewhere on the page. Should be in the middle.
Get the app, right?
Mm,
Get the app.
Or login.
no.
Try it more.
Try it out. Okay, run Adobe Flash and then just allow. Perfect. If you're with, so Jose Antonio, you're with Firefox, right? Okay, if you're using Safari, login blocked.
I have to download.
I'm not liking anything.
But do we have to use Chrome again?
Ideally,
Oh, you want to use Chrome?
sure, that would be that. Although it should be platform agnostic, browser agnostic. Why is it blocking?
I don't know.
Is it the one that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Manage.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, because I have a
So what do I need to do? Download the Claro, because this is new.
No, I want to do. I need to use it. I need to do a browser. How about that?
Okay.
So I should allow.
You should allow Flash, yes.
I think Google Chrome is better. With the Safari, you can.
Sign up. Okay, I'm gonna try to rescue you
Will
here.
we
Okay,
get
you're
now
already
emails
set.
from them for
I-
the rest of
I-
our lives, like with the other
I tried
applications?
to
Yeah, but you can always
Sorry.
delete your account with them.
That's true.
It's so neat. I didn't even know it okay, but oh. I download it. This is here. Yeah, it's new. I don't
Do
have
you
anything.
use Safari?
Yeah.
Where's your things?
My things is in here.
Oh wow. A recliner?
Okay, stop it.
Well, IKEA, what?
Cannot have anything. Eh?
No secrets, Lucky, no secrets.
I read about this in the morning, and they said that this is super nice, but that you need to pay.
Try app.
Let's sign up. This and then use. And now you can sign up and you're in. And then
Very
what
good.
do we have here? Welcome. It takes forever. Okay, this is the fun part.
You are happy we are not 30, eh? 30
That you're not
people
what?
here.
Very loud. Really insistent. Have you already signed in
No.
or signed up for it?
Yes, I read some.
But do you have an account in order to sign
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
You do?
I created.
Oh.
Okay. Then just go for it. Welcome. We're excited to feature Popplet. Okay. Now, if you have already, once you're in, I want you to write your unis on the board, or not on the board, on the wall here, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to add you to my things.
You have
Just
it
the
on that
uni?
board, the right board.
What?
Oh, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, but I don't know if these are the same that you
Okay.
use to log in to create your Popplet
Yeah,
accounts.
listen.
It's okay?
Yeah, that's the same.
DB?
Okay, before we do that, question. Are you
31
using your
copy.
Columbia
Yes.
emails for this?
Yeah.
We're all
Yes.
using Columbia emails for this, Jose Antonio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
JC 846.
Okay.
J,
C
C,
846.
846.
Okay, flash in your browser.
RDP. RDP.
Why is it so big over here?
2132.
And deal breaker.
Thank you.
Yeah, then what
Amy.
is
Swedish.
Can you
Amy,
give
what's your uni?
Oh, so, sorry, WED 23.
Wednesday 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
That's it?
Yes, this is.
I'm sorry. I thought you
Almost a
were-
valid
Yes.
email address. So
Oh my God, you were the 33.
There's not
33.
many words of club here. Look at that,
Thank you.
2931.
And do you think I have
Wow.
$3,000?
So much.
You.
I have 3,000. TV. Daniel.
Here we go, because you have zoomed in.
Daniel.
Do I have to do it again?
No, click next. You agree to, we'll
I
need
did.
your password. I need your email and your
Again,
first
that's
last name.
third time.
Okay, you do it third time. What I will do now is. Great. Okay, allow. Excellent. To do. Okay.
Why we don't see anything
Wait,
like
why
this?
I refreshed and it brought me back to signing in.
I'm gonna go first. The same.
The same?
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to do it again.
I don't know if I like it.
For the purpose of this activity, all we need is to be in the system.
Okay.
So as long as your email is in the system,
Right.
we should all be able to participate. What I did here is I essentially converted the first activity, so which is 1A, into a Popplet version. So the first activity is, or asks students, or says that students are shown the title of the poem, and then brainstorm about its content. So, and it gives you a number of questions, whether the events that typically comprise breakfast, what words are usually used to talk about breakfast, and so on and so forth. So here's the word breakfast. And what I'm going to do now, and this is already my Popplet here, what I'm going to do now is I will share it by adding collaborators here. This is why I need your email
Yeah.
addresses.
This is what I needed the other day. But that's good. That's
Now, I
good.
don't know what's going to happen once I add you.
You never tried it
Nope.
before? This is our first time.
Thankfully, there's only 5 of us. Okay.
If you have a big class, it's a
Oh my
lot.
God.
People
Just
to
for
add.
Craig.
Okay. Invite. So now you should receive an email
Let's see.
with a link. Sorry, there
That's
was
a
a problem.
It's problem number 4.
But I signed up with Angelina, but that should make a difference because you've got the
That's true.
So let's check the email.
And now it's working.
After your friend accepts your invitation to become a public user, they will be added to this board and you will be able to collaborate with them on new ones. Okay. So, see if you got an email from them.
yeah, refreshing. Okay.
No emails.
Well, I haven't sent you one yet.
Simple.
Oh man.
No, it's not working.
What does it do? Tell us what it does.
Because
So,
you just sent
what-
to
what
it
we-
to Angie.
Yeah.
So maybe...
Okay, let's see.
Got it.
You got
You
it?
got
Okay.
it?
So you got it. Cool. Now let's see.
You invite
DB
us.
31.
40.
Can she invite the rest of
40.
the class?
Okay, and
No,
this
you
is
have to pay
Dolores.
the,
And
You see Daniel Brown. Bibi. Daniela Bustos.
that's you though.
Dora.
Okay. And
Daniel.
huh? DC 846. Okay, who is this?
Ese castellano es fácil.
Okay, so you should be added to REP 2132.
I think I'm still on it. It keeps saying welcome. We're excited to have you join Popplet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm in. Didn't do anything beyond this.
That should be enough.
Okay.
Does it? Because it's not showing it.
Yeah, see, that doesn't go, just,
And then AS 2931, right? There we go. Okay, so you can badge. So now I send an email to you and to Daru, and then everybody else except for Vaini will work on this.
yeah, I'll do so.
Okay.
I'll look represent Antonio.
So now, connection error, your Popplet may not be saved. Save now, save error. Okay, this may be due to what? Save in 1 moment, please. Sure. Okay, cool. So you should have access to this. Essentially, you all should have received emails with some sort of invitation or a link.
Receive the email and not very connected.
I didn't.
It's the link. I accepted through the email, but then through the website.
Okay.
Have you received anything? I didn't.
It takes a while to load, no? Upload it.
No, I didn't receive the email.
We'll try refreshing it.
Yes. Please asking me to join this Popplet as collaborator. Yes. Got it.
Okay.
It's showing.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go. Got it too.
It takes a
Yeah, it takes a
So
while.
this is the first time I'm doing this, so I couldn't invite myself
Yeah, you
to
go.
this, so,
Refresh.
just
I
try.
have prepared.
Okay, so for those of you who are in, so to speak, you should be able to,
No, share. Because I haven't received.
he won't be able to invite you.
Only the originator.
I can try sharing you again.
On Safari it doesn't work. It
Ah,
doesn't work on Safari,
okay.
it works on Chrome.
Okay,
It doesn't
okay.
work on Safari.
I am using Popplet.
No?
Okay, DB, right, DB 3040,
Yes.
3140, at,
It's started.
Colombia.literacy.
Yeah, it's still.
and you are,
No. Dolores. They are
It
there.
works.
Are
Is
there.
it on Chrome?
This is Chrome.
Yeah, it's not working.
So Safari is, I have
Work
to
on
advance.
Okay,
So-
so I added one, but it's not
En qué
showing.
estás? En Firefox.
So I opened the box. Oh, there it is. No, but it's
So, and I can write.
it shows correctly in mine.
Simon had sent you a Popplet.
That's so funny.
so, and it may take, as we notice, this is a pretty slow system.
Okay,
So it may take a while for it to update. Now, let's see.
No me
But
va.
it's funny because.
Okay, so now it's, and then, well, do you really want to, yes.
And how can I write this?
Double click.
Now, when you open, so if let's say that you're on this board with all of us together,
My double click, so I need the mouse like we got it in my office.
At this moment.
So that's why. Okay.
This will be productive. Do something useful in my life.
Yes, exactly. Support
Okay, so you should all see something like this. No?
No, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Okay, Jose Antonius got it. David, do you have it? No, okay.
2 no's.
2 no's, 1 yeses. Okay, so this is how it works. They probably need to tweak it out a bit. But if you are so inclined, and if you see it, if you click on a box, you can, you see these 4 nodes around it, and these 4 nodes will sort of indicate that you can create
That's good.
different boxes around it. So breakfast. So what do I don't know, with breakfast, eggs. Perfect. Okay, cool. And then it already says that Simon wrote it, but to make it even more distinct, can you change the color of it? So let's say mine is going to be coral. What else can I do with eggs? Well, I don't have to just. I can add one more, and let's say that I want to draw an
You
egg.
can expand.
So this is an egg. Okay, there.
Oh, that's cool.
Could be anything, but this is going to be an egg for us. And then let's see, coffee. Okay. Let's expand it here, and here we can add a video with coffee from Vimeo, or we can put a picture. So this already shows you.
From Vimeo.
From Vimeo? Okay. Well, so search coffee, except it's just super slow.
But only with from Vimeo.
Copy and paste the URL of a Vimeo bubbles, but what? I need to look for coffee. Okay, let's see. That's pretty neat. So it's thinking and it's taking it a while. Okay, great. This looks like coffee, and let's just add it and see what happens. No, it threw it in there. Okay, cool. And this is the coffee one, and we see that the node is expanding over there. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna close that. What else does it let me do? And those are the 4 functionalities, of course. And if you want later, you can click on any of these, and we can comment on them as well.
So nice.
So we are almost sort of 5 minutes away
My
from this.
question, I do have a question because the other day I was trying to do something like this in class, and my problem was that, well, first of all, I like the idea that they can collaborate, because I use the bubble as and can. But how can you then show this, how can you save this and show it to the rest of the class? So for example, you put them in pairs or in a group of 3, and they generate in their own semantic map, right? How can I then share it with the rest of the class so that we can see the different semantic maps?
So
we have created?
two comments here. First of all, this is the free version of Popplet, and just like virtually all of the other things that we work with here, it allows you limited functionality. So I think this version only lets you have like 5 different Popplets.
10.
10?
I think so.
Okay, maybe 10 then. So if you're working with groups, that means that if the group is, if you're working in pairs, then you can have max 20 people in class. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, you can, remove the Popplets that you no longer use, or the boards that you no longer use, but this is the obvious limitation. Now, how do you share? There's a share button right here.
And save in tools on the left.
Yes, I will get there too. So there's a way to share it. You can send them the link. You can, of course, embed it if you want to embed it on Courseworks. Making it public, that's fine too. Facebook, Twitter, social media, that's pretty common stuff. But what you can do is you can export it. So you can turn it into PDF if you want. You can turn into a picture either as a JPEG or high resolution picture. Or simply, where's this public link? View presentation, or show it as a presentation.
Oh,
Where is it?
and where
View presentation mode.
Okay,
From the whip. So you tried this tool in class. You tried it.
But I think the best way
Not
would be
this
to just
one,
show
I
the
tried
link.
another one, but it's the same idea.
But so you ask them to bring the computer, their own computer.
My sons work with computers.
Or iPads, yeah. I mean, it's not going to work.
This one
on phones.
cannot, this one doesn't work with
Yeah.
iPad. It's not that one.
¿Qué pone? Prueba.
Sí. Well, do you trust
That's
in
good.
that?
That's
Don't trust
really
it.
When it has that many
Yeah.
papers? I don't know.
But this is low.
Is it
Computer. So this is low.
Mhm.
Yes, but our computer.
Okay,
computer is
aside from this working slowly and there being typos, I mean, it's a fresh tool. If, going back to Angie's question, I think the easiest way to work around it would be simply by sharing the link, which
Right.
if you go to share and if you copy the link from here, let's say move it to Safari, somewhere where we're not logged in, paste it, and this is what your students will hopefully see once Flash is enabled.
Oh, and you can add the pictures and maybe you can add the names. You know.
Okay, well, to log
like the
in.
video that you did?
Yeah, instead of writing
So I
the
think
words, you can send
upload videos only from Vimeo.
pictures.
Yeah,
from-
I think that the reason for it is because it's a video platform. Okay, so share the link with here.
Where's the code working?
Let's try.
That's true, eh?
Wait, so then I could,
The name
could
of
I?
this tool.
Change
This one is
this.
Bubbles, but I could embed this into
So either way, they would need to be users of this, and once they're users, you share a link with them, they will be able to retrieve it without modify. Well, I can modify it because I'm also one of the creators of
But
this.
they couldn't.
But they
But
couldn't
you
do
can
it.
ask them to write sentences.
To write sentences.
With these words, so it
What
can
you embed?
do whatever it wants or not on
I'm not sure following. What do
Instead of
you-
words, just a sentence, yeah. you can-
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
So let's say that, with breakfast,
So I had breakfast yesterday, I had breakfast at.
You can-
But
so
it's possible,
you-
because
you-
there was one that I cannot do it because my trackpad is blocked. So it's not.
okay. No, they can type here.
So there is
Oh, yeah.
a limit of characters.
Nope. There is no limit on how much you can write here.
Okay.
And then if you want, you can also just blow it up and make it really big to fit all the content, or make it really small. So we are at the end point. I will be sticking around for a bit to answer any questions if you have them.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry this is buggy, but I truly didn't know how this was going to be.
No, no, no.
A lot of
It doesn't
people find
matter.
it,
Thank you, yeah.
but at least you're aware of
This
it.
is
Yep.
the free version, and there is another one.
Maybe
It's not great for
Colombia
to
can
pay.
Yeah.
For all this technology.
There was another activity that I had in store, and this was for all of us to sort of look at the second one, so 2A, the clink and clunk, and see how they could be transposed and put into Popplet, but we don't have the time for it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, you can look into it on your own. Some announcements. So next workshop will be not on Thursday, but on Friday. I am, João asked me to do a poetry thing again with him, which will be at Casa Hispanica between 1 and 3 p.m. Since there will be no workshop here on Thursday, you guys are welcome to come to Casa Hispanica and do some poetry with us. I know you live there. So half of us live there. This is the title of the workshop, Technology of Today Speaks the Poetry of Tomorrow. And then this Friday, so that is tomorrow, at 3 p.m. in Hamilton 503, we have a work talk again.
Every week.
I know, right? Crazy, it's too much. Another talk again by Ophelia Garcia from CUNY. She'll be talking about translanguaging. Sorry. If you have bilingual, multilingual speakers, or polylingual speakers, or translingual speakers, or different things, in your classes, this would be something that you might want to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just do that.